fact that he laid flowers on Kyiv and Odessa memorials today in Moscow shows where Putin's heart really lies, based on the fact that he believed that the destruction of the Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century.
Now tell me your judgment on this. We all heard Vladimir Putin making his customary speech at the May the 9th military parade, but there were no announcements in that speech about either stepping up the offensive, a full-on declaration of war, which might have meant mass conscription, or declaring victory and retrenching. What were your thoughts when you heard that?
I thought it was a minimalist speech, which really was an invasion justification and really focused on anticipatory self-defense and how that it was necessary and timely, mentioning NATO and Europe and the fact that Kyiv might have been given nuclear weapons. But from a strategic point of view, it was absolutely sensible, because strategy must pass 5 tests. It's got to be acceptable, adaptable, feasible, sustainable, and suitable to the circumstances. And that's why they had to draw the line on phase 1, the sort of thunder run towards Kyiv, and start phase 2, which really began with the preparation of the battlefield with the large artillery strikes on April the 18th, and has been running in terms of the operational maneuver, which has not succeeded yet, from the 25th of April. Yes. So it was a strange speech. The thing which worried me slightly for the future was the defending the motherland piece, because what is the motherland? That's the key question. And if you go back to Putin's speeches prior to the invasion and his essay in July 21, it's you are not Ukrainian, you're Russian. And the fact that he laid flowers on Kyiv and Odessa memorials today in Moscow shows where Putin's heart really lies, based on the fact that he believed that the destruction of the Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century.
And referring to Ukraine in that way, Chip, as the motherland, that's caused offence in Ukraine. A member of the Ukraine Parliament was on this show earlier on, speaking of it as being despicable. And the speech then, it was as significant for what it didn't say as much as for what it did say. The fact that there were no strategic or big policy announcements, was that an acknowledgement that the initial war aim had failed. Putin set off to send in the army to take over Ukraine, to topple the government led by Volodymyr Zelensky in the interest, he argued, of doing away with a Nazi regime. It simply did not work. And I think this speech was neither one thing nor the other, could be seen then as an acknowledgement of that.
I think so. Well, firstly, at the grand strategic level, I'd say he's already lost. The grand strategic level, he had 2 real objectives. The first one was to regain lost territory and spheres of influence. He won't do that in the short to medium term. He might in centuries. The second one was to re-establish Russia as a great power, and he's done more damage than anyone since Nicholas II. So at the grand strategic level, he's failed. At the strategic level, of course, he wanted to knock over Kyiv and establish a new political polity with Ukraine in the Russian orbit very quickly. He failed to do that. So he's also failing at the strategic level at the moment. So he's left with what might be the minimalist or minimal thing that he can get away with. And that is really saying he's done something or achieved some victory down the line in the Donbass, raised up and gathered in the Russian people, and joined with a corridor between the Donbass and Crimea, and that's where the Mariupol really comes into play. The danger with that is he's always got an open flank. It's okay seeing red bits on a map, but those red bits are a flank which people can attack into. And that is the potential war after the war with partisan warfare. It's already going on at the moment, but that was the notion if they'd have been knocked over in days few at the start of the war on the 24th of February.